High housing prices on the Sunshine Coast are inspiring some homeowners to relocate to the more affordable Alberta. I'll talk with Calgary Realtor Felix Chan and find out why you might want to move to the Stampede City. Felix Chan started in real estate in 2009 and is a realtor with Real Broker in Calgary, Alberta. He's also a long-time mortgage broker with Swivel Mortgage, which gives him an incredible insight into all parts of the home buying journey. Felix, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Tony. I'm super excited to be part of your podcast here today.
Right on, it's great to have you. So let's jump straight in. If someone's thinking about relocating to Calgary, what would you say are the best things about living in Calgary?
Well, Calgary's gone through a massive transformation over the years. Today we have about 1.4 million people, so it's not exactly a small town. But, some interesting facts about Calgary is back in last year in 2022, it was ranked the third most livable city in the world. And this was based on, stability, healthcare, culture, education, and infrastructure. This year, we did slip in 2023 to number 7, but we're still on the list. And another also thing that's interesting is we have the second largest number of corporate head offices in the country, only behind Toronto. And a really cool project that I'm pretty excited to watch get built is the Hyperloop transportation system. Have you heard of that before, Tony?
No, I haven't. What is it?
So it's a $688 million high-speed project. This is a high-speed transportation system from Calgary to Edmonton, and eventually they want to expand this out to Banff and Canmore, which is one of the most popular places here in Alberta. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that'd be great for getting around. Being on that most livable city list, I'm sure a big part of that is affordability, and that's always been a challenge here in BC. Why do you think that, in general, Alberta's more affordable than BC?
Well, first of all, unlike other provinces, even such as BC, Alberta, we don't have a land transfer tax. So that alone saves buyers thousands of dollars when they're purchasing property here. We have no PST, only GST, which is 5%. And we have one of the highest wages. Actually, we have the highest wages in this province compared to any other province in Canada. So when you add all of those things up, including the lower priced homes that we have, it makes Alberta pretty attractive, which is why we're seeing so much net migration to our province.
So probably like most people, I've fallen in love with Calgary with the Stampede. So last time I was there, and I was thinking about moving there. I'm told it was the sunniest city in Canada, and coming from BC, you really do miss that sun. But getting home, while I was there, I also heard from a cab driver that there was like Tornado Alley and a whole bunch of hail. But my personal experience was great, and everyone I met there during the Stampede said this is beautiful. It's the sunniest city. But realistically, how is the weather? Is it a big impact on your lifestyle? Or if you could tell me some more about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, in the summer, it's great. And it's not humid here, probably like, the Okanagan or some of the, coastal areas. It's dry heat, so it's pretty comfortable and it wouldn't get too hot most of the time unless we go through a heat wave, right?
What are we doing? Now, like 30 degrees is kind of hot, 35 or?
Yeah, it doesn't usually get hotter than 34, 35, and that's during a heat wave. But typically, it doesn't really get hotter than 30. So, but over the last few...
What about bugs? Do you have a lot of bugs at all, flies or anything? Or?
We have a fair share, but it's not a ton where you can't go outside.
Yeah, so you can have an outside barbecue out the back and you're not getting bitten.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Winter's a little bit different. That'd probably be the biggest adjustment for your audience if they're moving to Calgary. Today we just had a huge snow dump, and so when it happens, we have two types of snow here. We have wet snow, and then we have dry snow. The wet snow is going to be a problem because during the day it falls as kind of rain. And then overnight, it drops to below zero, and then it freezes. So there's going to be a layer of ice on your car. I was having a hard time opening my door today because it was kind of frozen. And the streets, right? It's just black ice on the roads.
Treacherous.
Yes. So I would recommend getting winter tires. I know that's a rule in BC if you're driving on the highways. You do need them here. It does make a massive difference. And you just have to bundle up, right? Being an active guy, I heard, a great quote, which was, there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad preparation in terms of clothing and, just making
Layers,
sure you're warm, right? So, and in the wintertime, it does in our cold snaps. Like last year, we had 2 weeks of a cold snap. It got down to like minus 30, minus 33. But most of the time, it's in the teens, the negative teens. So, the first winter may be a little bit of an adjustment period, but after that, you kind of get used to it.
Is there any other ways that that you want to mention that the city is transforming?
The first thing is, we, just like any other city, we are trying to build a more dense city. Even though we are an urban sprawl, you do need a car to get around Calgary. But what the city is doing is they're blanket rezoning parts of the Calgary. And so what's happening is, before, where in the inner city, in other words, we call the city center inner city for most Calgarians.
Gotcha.
They are allowing one property, which is a standard lot, 50 by 120 lot, and they're allowing people to build up to 8 units on this one lot. Wow. So on the corner lots, and as well, I guess, the inside streets, you can build 4 townhomes, either side by side or 2 in the front and 2 in the back. And you can build an additional 4 more legal basement suites here. So it's going to bring a lot more housing and density, of course, to the city, but also it provides more housing options and investment funds as well too, right? A lot of investors are selling their properties out in Ontario and allocating funds here to invest just because of these unique opportunities. And Calgary, I think, is on the forefront of being able to create these high density, investor friendly investments.
Yeah, it seems that you definitely are on the cutting edge of that, and there's it seems anyway to be less red tape to kind of get approvals for that kind of thing, which at the moment I think in BC has been a challenge and resulted in less options as far as housing and less housing affordability. Switching gears just a little bit, what are the opportunities for like outdoor activities? Like here we enjoy a lot of hiking and boating and that kind of stuff. What's going on in and around Calgary when it comes to outdoor activities?
Not many people know this, but we seem to be very activity focused. We actually have 2 of the world's largest YMCAs right here in Calgary. They built the world's largest one in the northwest of Calgary in Rocky Ridge. And then they built a new one and a bigger one just a few years later, just down in the southeast. And so we have that. But of course, for people that love the outdoors, they do move to Calgary because we have the Rocky Mountains here. They're about an hour away, 45 minutes to an hour away. You could go biking or fat biking in Bragg Creek. It's a little town about 45 minutes away. Fat biking is when people take their bikes out in wintertime and ride their bikes in the snow or ice or whatever it is. Yeah, so the tires are like super, super thick. Oh, okay. And so that's why they call it fat biking. So yeah, we have that. You could go cross-country skiing. A big popular one is Confederation Park, which is actually a golf course, a city-owned golf course in the summertime, and they actually maintain cross-country skiing tracks in the wintertime, and you can go there and do it for free. You can go to Canmore Nordic Center, which is Canmore's a town 45 minutes away. They have a Nordic Center there that they that they also have tracks that you could go to for the day. In the summertime, there's Barrier Lake, which is 45 minutes away. You can go paddle boarding. You can float down the river right in the city. But when we're looking at, being in the Rocky Mountains, and if you're wanting hiking, snowboarding, by the way, is close by, anywhere from, an hour to maybe an hour and a half to go to Lake Louise. But in the summertime, you have to be careful and make sure you bring bear spray, because recently we've had quite a few grizzly sightings and grizzly attacks. So, you just have to be very aware of safety and the environment and the dangers that come by. And as long as, you're looking out after yourself with the proper equipment, you should be okay and be able to enjoy the great outdoors.
I guess just read the signs and be bear aware, and you'll be all right. Don't go to try and pat the wildlife or anything like that.
Yeah,
so,
especially the grizzly bears.
Yeah. Black bears, no problem.
Yeah.
So, you know the Sunshine Coast, like we've chatted ahead of doing this. So, like we're a relatively small little community, just about 45 minutes away from Vancouver. So someone moving from the Sunshine Coast, where most of our viewership is from, is there a specific neighbourhood that you'd recommend if someone was moving from here to Calgary?
Not within Calgary, because most of the communities here, they have mixed property types, right? So, anywhere from condos to single detached homes to estate homes. Now, the ratio of condos might be different in each community. However, most communities will have some type of, low density residential like that. If you wanted a small town vibe, it wouldn't be in Calgary. You would be more looking in, say, in Cochrane, which is just west of Calgary, or Airdrie, which is north of Calgary. Airdrie has about 65,000 people. Just curious, how many people are in where you are?
So where we're filming this is Gibsons. That's got about 5,000 people year round. The next closest town is Seashelt. That's around 10,000. And the whole lower Sunshine Coast, which is a landlocked peninsula, is about 20,000. In summer, that'll balloon out, probably double for a few months the population. The producer's nodding here, so I'm getting all these numbers right. That's great. So that's about what we're sitting with for this foreseeable future anyway.
Okay. So I guess taking where you're from, such as Gibson and the surrounding area, Cochrane would probably be more of a better fit. It is older. It's not as developed. In fact, Garmin, I'm not sure if you've heard of Garmin's, they make watches and GPS units. Their head office is actually in Cochrane. Yeah, and they said, most of our people are outdoors people, mountain people, and they want to be where their customers are and where they're using most of their products. So it's pretty cool to see a big company like that come in and stay not in Calgary, but really close to. So Cochrane would probably be the best. You could go down south, there's Olds, but it is a little bit more of a further drive. So there are communities just outside of Calgary if you're truly looking for that small town vibe.
Right on. So as far as pricing goes, what would you, let's look at a couple of different price points. So if someone was looking to buy in Calgary for $500,000 and under, a number that, you can't really get anything for in Vancouver, but even on the Sunshine Coast, it's tough to get. You can't get a detached home for that range. What can you get in Calgary for $500,000?
Yeah, so the benchmark in Calgary for the average detached home, it is $700,000. So, detached homes are typically outside of that range. But under $500,000, Calgary townhomes and condos is a good fit. Townhomes, you're probably looking at, 1,200 square feet or so. And the last time I looked at it, you could get something pretty nice for around $440,000.
Totally affordable. Wow.
Yeah. And that would be a mix of, older but also newer in the suburbs. And for, Calgary condos, you can get something right downtown, a 2-bed, 2-bath, newer kind of condo building. If any of your viewers are ever interested in knowing or seeing what some of these condos look like, I do have some video tours that I've done on my YouTube, so they're more than welcome to check it out.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure we'll be putting some links to those in the description of the video. And what could someone get? So they had a bit more of a budget. They did want to get into that detached home market. Between 500 and a million, you said the benchmark's around 700 grand. What are you getting for, say, 900,000? Are you in a nice neighborhood, or what kind of bedroom, bathroom are you looking at?
I mean, if your budget is up to $1 million, you're in a really good position. You have lots of options, anywhere from inner city all the way to the suburbs. So in the inner city, you would be able to get like an infill duplex. So in Calgary, when I was talking about how builders are just knocking down old homes and they're building, these aplexes, they're also building either single family detached or most often duplex infills. So you can get a very nice infill duplex for about 900,000. And, for 900 grand in the suburbs, you can get something that's, pretty much brand new or within the last 3 to 4 years. Some of them may have a separate entrance and developed basement, some of them legal. And there is a big difference in value between a illegal basement suite versus a legal basement suite. You're looking at anywhere from, $20,000 to $40,000 difference. And so if people wanted to add value to their basements and legalize it, there's a really good opportunity to do that because the city wants more of that. So it's a great mortgage helper. In fact, one of the listings that I have coming up, they're getting $2,500 a month in their basement just from Airbnb. And this is a 2018 build, 2,100 square feet, and it's in the suburbs. So relatively new, and you can find those types of properties. So if your demographics is the older demographics and they want that mortgage helper, they can do that.
So no problem there. There's no problem with a legal basement suite being Airbnb'd if the owners live, in the other part of the house. Are there any restrictions because of Airbnbs?
Well, I guess there's two things I want to mention. The first is most basement suites are illegal. The city recognizes this and acknowledges it, which is why starting to about 2 to 3 years ago, they're really pushing the entire city to legalize their basement suites by waiving permit fees and development fees and all that kind of stuff. So it started out as a test project, and it's been so successful now that they've extended the program and they're encouraging everyone to turn their illegal basement suites to legal. Now, to answer your second part about Airbnbs and restrictions, the last time I checked, you had to get a license with the city for short-term rentals. Short-term meaning anything that's rented less than 30 days.
Gotcha. And
it's about $100, and that covers you for 4 doors. So you do have to get
very reasonable then.
Yeah, the income you receive from that is, it should be more than $100, right? So
you'd hope.
So it's just so the city, I think, can keep track of the licenses and the ratio between, say, short-term rentals and owner-occupied homes, and I think they're doing a pretty good job about that. So that may change though. The fee structure by the time this video comes out, we're not sure because the city is always evolving in their permitting, and they are trying to get rid of the red tape to make it easier for not only council but for homeowners trying to legalize their basement suites.
Well, you've done a wonderful job selling Alberta and selling Calgary specifically, so I'm sure there's going to be some people looking to move there. And when they do, how do they get in touch with you? Yeah,
so there's a few ways. We do have contact us sections in our YouTube channel in every one of our videos. Our YouTube channel is Live Inner City Real Estate, or you could just type in Felix Chan in YouTube and you'll find me all over YouTube. And also on Instagram, on social. Instagram, we have Live Inner City, and my account is felixchan.me.
All right. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to be on the podcast and informing the viewers with information on Alberta and Calgary, and I look forward to catching up with you again sometime soon.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. While you're here, maybe you want to check out one of my listings or watch my video about why you should choose me to sell your home.